Some standouts in the game: Kiki Vandeweghe for UCLA, Kelvin Ramsey for Ohio State.
And a freshman, Clark Kellogg. He'll be watched closely, too. A big forward for Ohio State. Herb Williams at center's tough.
Okay, we'll be back with the introductions for the starting lineups. But first, these messages. For the starting lineups, let's go to the voice of McHale Center, Roger Settlemeyer.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to McHale Center on the campus of the University of Arizona for tonight's NCAA basketball West Regional game between the Pac-10 UCLA Bruins and the Big Ten Ohio State Buckeyes. Introducing a forward from UCLA, number 55, 6'8", 220 pounds, a senior from Los Angeles, California, Kiki Vandeweghe. A forward from Ohio State, a forward 6'7", 225 pounds, a freshman from Cleveland, Ohio, number 33, Clark Kellogg. A forward from UCLA, 6'7", 205, a senior from Los Angeles, California, number 35, James Wilkes. A forward for Ohio State, 6'9", 225, a junior from Cleveland, Ohio, number 23, Jim Smith. The center on the UCLA Bruins, 6'6", 205 pounds, a sophomore from DeRidder, Louisiana, number 11, Mike Sanders. The center for Ohio State, 6'10", 240, a junior from Columbus, Ohio, 32, Herb Williams. A guard on the UCLA Bruins, 6'3", 182, a freshman from Pasadena, California, 14, Michael Holton. A guard on Ohio State, 6'2", 180, a junior from Barberton, Ohio, number 15, Carter Scott. A guard for the UCLA Bruins, 6'1", 159, a freshman, New Britain, Connecticut, number 10, Rod Foster. And a guard for Ohio State, 6'1", 190, a senior, Toledo, Ohio, number 14, Kelvin Ramsey. The coach of the UCLA Bruins, Larry Brown, and the coach of the Ohio State Buckeyes, Eldon Miller.
You've been wondering where national numbers are low.
UCLA with a couple wins now in the NCAA tournament. They got a couple freshmen in the backcourt. It really shouldn't make much difference. These guys have experienced. They've been playing together, Foster and Holtman, for over a month now.
Ball in the air, the tip controlled by Ohio State as Kelvin Ramsey has the ball. Ramsey, a senior out of Toledo, Ohio.
And truly one of the finer players in the country. He's given up a lot of scoring to be a playmaker for this year for the Buckeyes.
Kellogg to Smith, a turnaround jump shot over Vandeweghe, wide of the mark. And Wilkes has the bound for the Bruins to Holton. Freshman Michael Holton from Pasadena, California. Over to Rod Foster, to Mike Sanders. James Wilkes.
It's a man-to-man. Herb Williams, the center, is matched up against forward Kiki Vandeweghe.
Vandeweghe had a pick, now takes the outside shot and hits it. Vandeweghe, averaging 19.4 a game, gives UCLA a 2-0 lead.
So clearly Vandeweghe could go outside and hit. He might bring Williams out with him, and that would open up things underneath for the Bruins.
Kellogg to Scott against the man-for-man, over to Ramsey, and his outside jumper is good.
He's smooth. We said he's been a playmaker this year, set a school record for assists in one season, but he can also score 15 points a game. He's one of the fine forwards around.
Sanders has the ball knocked away, and a foul is called on Clark Kellogg.
Kellogg, of course, was one of the highly touted players in high school last year. Got reaching in that time against Sanders. Started every game this year for Ohio State.
Wilkes inbounds to Holton. Vandeweghe to the top of the key. Drives on Williams, goes to the basket, misses the shot, and Kellogg has the rebound. On down Ramsey from 18 feet. Wilkes had his hands on the rebound, put up and in by Jim Smith, and he's fouled by Wilkes. Well,
Ohio State has a big team, and UCLA had good position that time. Wilkes couldn't handle it, so Smith, he took it, and he knew what to do with it.
It is 4-2 Ohio State as Smith goes to the foul line. Smith, a 54% foul shooter. He's averaging 7.2 a game. Vandeweghe has the rebound. 18:30 left in the first half. Foster to Holton. Hence the man for man. Wilkes to Sanders. Bobbles the ball. Now controls. Holton from the right side. A little short. And a foul called on Michael Sanders.
That's what you call really calling him tightly here at the outset of the game. Sanders really tried to back off. He really didn't try to go over the back at all, but he still got the foul.
At bulk on Ohio's front line, Kellogg at 225, Williams 240, Smith 225.
Yeah, people talk about the height of Ohio State against UCLA. The weight inside may be more meaningful than the height.
Bruins matchup with Wilkes at 205, Vandeweghe at 220, and Sanders at 205. So they give away a lot of weight. Kellogg with the ball. Ramsey from the foul line makes it 6-2 Ohio State. 4 points for Kelvin Ramsey. Foster working the left side, and a blocking foul called on Ramsey. 17:42 remaining in the first half. It's Ohio State leading UCLA 6-2 in game 2 of the semifinals of the Western Regionals from Tucson. The opener went to Clemson over Lamar, 74-66. Sophomore Michael Sanders with the jump shot. Sanders, an outstanding shooter.
I think that's a perfect example there of some quickness. Sanders put the ball on the floor for a quick drive. Got the jump shot off very quickly. Sometimes quickness is much more effective than height.
Ramsey to Kellogg in the left corner, guarded by Sanders. The 18-footer is good.
Kellogg is destined for greatness if he's not already there.
His first 2 of the night. Foster guarded by Ramsey to Wilkes. Wilkes guarded by Jim Smith. Foster in the right corner. Now Sanders. Sanders picked up by Kellogg. Loses the ball, but the quick-handed Foster comes up with it for UCLA. Out to Holton, 8-4 Ohio State. Wilkes drops it off. Couldn't penetrate. Wilkes to Foster. Foster spins, shoots off the backboard, but the rebound Vandeweghe, and Vandeweghe has 4 points as UCLA pulls to within 2. Vandeweghe had his career high 34 points against Old Dominion last week in opening round play. The rebound by Sanders. Foster up to Wilkes. James cuts to the lane. The bank shot won't go. Tip Vandeweghe no good. Slapped out to Holton. Holton fires a pass for Foster that's deflected out of bounds for the Buckeyes.
So far, there are no gimmicks in the game. Both teams starting out in man-to-man. That's what they prefer. Coach Alden Miller said just before the game that he will play zone if he has to, but he likes man-to-man, basically.
Holton to Vandeweghe. Now Sanders. Wilkes. Misses the shot, and Kellogg skies for the rebound.
If he goes any higher, he'll need a parachute to come down.
The freshman brings it down court. Ramsey out of the corner hits 6 points for Kelvin Ramsey. And it's 10-6 Ohio State.
If the Bruins have learned anything so far in the game, it's that defensively they better pick up Ramsey quickly.
Sanders left side, Vandeweghe. They collapse on Vandeweghe, slapped away by 6'10", Herb Williams. On down to Carter Scott. Stuffs it home. And quickly it is Ohio State 12-6 over UCLA.
We've seen one Big Ten team eliminated tonight, but that was by another Big Ten team. Purdue beat Indiana in the Mid-East Regional 76-69. Ohio State showing early here why the Big Ten is perhaps the best conference in the country. They look awesome.
And Iowa goes against Syracuse. DeVoe at Philadelphia. Out to Vandeweghe, the 20-footer. Rebound, Kellogg.
You would think that's where Vandeweghe will get his shots when he's guarded by big Herb Williams. He won't go out there against him.
Carter Scott. Turnaround shot missed by Smith. Wilkes the rebound. Holton for UCLA. 12-6 Ohio. Good move by Holton. Misses the layup. The sidelines. It is 7-4. Last 4 points belong to Oregon. Need a basket to quiet the crowd down. Foster with it. Foster got a pick from Adams to Vandeweghe. Bad pass. But deflected out of bounds. Deflected out of bounds. And now we've got security guards and students having problems, and a young man in the first row will be leaving the stadium. And having a hard time subduing him. They're going to bring the policeman in. And that's what the delay is for. So we had a sellout, but now there's a 3. Wilkes, reverse layup, is fouled by Scott.
Foster, according to UCLA coach Larry Brown, the fastest player he's ever coached. Got a nice little bounce pass in there to Wilkes, and I think actually he had a conceded layup just right in front there. He didn't have to make the fancy reverse.
Wilkes with 2 free throws coming. Wilkes, a 64% foul shooter, averaging 9.5 on the season. He misses the first one, and James was very heroic today, jumping in the swimming pool here at the hotel where the Bruins are staying to rescue a young boy who was in danger of drowning. Yeah,
had his shoes on and everything. In fact, the shoes he was going to play with tonight, so he had to change for the game.
12-7 Ohio State. And there is timeout with 14:30 remaining in the first half. The Ohio State Buckeyes 12, the UCLA Bruins 7. Steve Shannon and Lynn Shackelford at Tucson McHale Center on the campus of the University of Arizona, with the Ohio State Buckeyes leading UCLA 12-7. Scoring in the ball game, Ramsey with 6 for Ohio, Scott with 2, Smith with 2, Kellogg 2. Vandeweghe has 4 for UCLA, Wilkes 1, and Sanders 2.
I think one of the important things that a lot of people have been talking about, the height advantage and the strength and weight that Ohio State has inside, but they also have a lot of experience, Steve, there in the backcourt when you're talking about Kelvin Ramsey going against a couple freshman guards there for UCLA. That's got to be a big edge for him.
Buckeyes were 19-12 last year. 21-7 this season. Ramsey to Williams. The turnaround shot misses. Tipped into the hands of the Bruins, and Foster brings it up. Foster passes to Vandeweghe, goes to the basket, and a foul is called on Vandeweghe.
It looked like Kiki Vandeweghe really never got a good grip on the ball, and as a result never really was able to pull off the move that he would like to have. I think he may have even thought about shooting. Then of course you just see he never really had a good grip on it.
So the player control foul gives the ball to the Buckeyes. Ramsey guarded by Holton. Out front to Clark Kellogg. Freshman guarded by sophomore Michael Sanders. Carter Scott mounts passes to Williams, leans to the basket and scores. First 2 points for Herb Williams. Again, the Bucks have doubled the score on the Bruins. Vandeweghe, left side to Sanders. Sanders over to Wilkes. Vandeweghe, guarded by Williams. Sanders, guarded by Kellogg. To Wilkes, he's guarded by Smith. Buckeyes playing some good man for man. As the season has progressed, UCLA has become more patient as the freshman guards have gained experience. But Vandeweghe driving picks up a foul on Clark Kellogg.
And this is a slight alteration, Steve. Larry Brown, the latter part of the season, went back to the old John Wooden high post offense for the most part, but now UCLA this time has been running what would be a motion or a passing game. Maybe trying to mix it up and confuse Ohio State a bit, since they haven't used it that much lately.
Vandeweghe's free throw is good. Kiki with 5 points in the game.
There's a final score. After leading by 14 at halftime, Duke held on to beat Kentucky 55-54. So the Mid-East Regional Final will see Purdue versus Duke.
Couple of upsets in Lexington tonight. Vandeweghe makes both free throws. 77% foul shooter on the year. And it's 14-9 Ohio State. Carter Scott with the ball for the Buckeyes. Tony Hall in the game for Ohio, a 6'3" senior from Louisville, Kentucky. Hall shot misses. Battle for the loose basketball, and Williams gets the ball, but on the baseline it goes over to UCLA. 12:46 remaining in the half. Michael Holton for UCLA out front to Foster. Vandeweghe along the sideline. Wilkes looks for a cutter. Vandeweghe cut through. They couldn't get it to him. Wilkes now to Vandeweghe on the right side, picked up by Hall. Into Wilkes. He goes up, and a foul is called on Jim Smith.
An impressive move by Wilkes. I'm sure right now, though, he'd love to be shooting that free throw to complete a three-point play. He had a shot inside there that he thought he should have made. He is, and I'm sure this has been said many times, no relation to Jamal Wilkes, who, of course, also played at UCLA.
Wilkes 1 for 2 from the line. Makes this one good. (14-10) Ohio State. Last 3 points belong to UCLA. Ohio will make a substitution. Jim Ellinghausen, 6'8" senior from Plymouth, Michigan, comes in. He replaces Smith. So there's Ellinghausen in the game, and now Darrell Allums replaces James Wilkes. Allums, a 6'9", 225-pound senior from Linwood, California. 14-11 Ohio State. Kelvin Ramsey. High lob pass to Williams. His jumper won't go, and Sanders is high for the rebound. Releases to Holt. Buckeyes get back quickly. Allums in the corner. Over to Vandeweghe from Foster, a 20-footer that is in and out, and Ohio comes away with the ball. Carter Scott down to Ramsey. Ramsey pulls up the bank shot too hard. On the board, Scott tries to make the save, slapped away by Foster, and a foul called in the corner by Hank Nichols. The foul will be against Ohio State.
Foster really took a risk on trying to save that ball. The risk was it could have been an injury to himself. Ramsey tried to pull up. That was a hard shot to make, and he wasn't able to pull it off. That was a great save by Scott. There's Foster. He went over the top of Ramsey, actually.
(16 fouls in Ohio, 3 on UCLA. Sanders to Vandeweghe. Down the lane, the shot is short, gets his own rebound, is stripped of the ball by Carter Scott. And Scott brings the ball down. Is bumped by Allums, and a foul on Darrell Allums. First foul on Allums, the 4th team foul on UCLA. Tony Hall will play the ball in for the Buckeyes. Comes into Ramsey. Bounce passes into Williams. The turnaround good.
What UCLA needs to do is to close off that pass going into Williams. He's so deep when he sets up.
4 points now for Herb Williams. 16-11 Ohio State. Vandeweghe to Holt. Foster back out to Holt. Sanders, a jumper over Hall, that is good. Sanders, a sophomore out of DeRidder, Louisiana, has excellent touch. Fine high arching shot. And really when UCLA began to turn things around, as Lynn mentioned, it was going back to the high post offense and Sanders replacing Allums at the starting center spot. He has responded by averaging in double figures. Williams shoots and scores again. Herb Williams hits 2 baskets in a row.
Well, this is what Ohio State and a lot of people thought that they could do against the Bruins, dominate the game inside, and Williams is doing a pretty good job right now doing that.
Allums for UCLA tries to pass to Holton, deflected, and the Buckeyes come away with the ball. Tony Hall over to Kelvin Ramsey. Ohio State 18, UCLA 13.
One of the impressive things for Ohio State so far too is that they substituted freely, yet everyone seems to know what they're doing out there. There's had no effect on their game plan at all.
Ellinghausen hits his first shot. 20-13 Ohio State. Last 2 baskets belong to the Buckeyes. Holton to Sanders, to Allums. Allums moves to the lane, guarded by Ellinghausen, goes up, shot is spiked away out of bounds. Larry Brown is off the Bruin bench screaming for a goaltending call, and you'll get the chance to see it once again.
A pretty tough one to call. It was a ball on its downward flight. Williams came over to help out beautifully. Pretty tough one to call. Looked like it could have gone either way.
There is 9:35 remaining in the half. Timeout on the court with the score: Ohio State 20, UCLA 13. This telecast is presented by authority of the NCAA, and use of this program without written consent is prohibited. The announcers for this program have been approved and contracted by NCAA Productions. There's Eldon Miller, the Ohio coach. Earlier you saw Larry Brown. Miller, quite a basketball player at Wittenberg in Ohio.
Yeah, everywhere he's gone, you can see his coaching ability. Coached at Wittenberg, coached at Western Michigan. And he's built this program up here at Ohio State to where Fred Taylor had it back in the early 60s.
Michael Sanders for the Bruins, to Allums. Foster on the left sideline. Foster goes on Ramsey. The jump shot is in with Ramsey right on top of it.
He sure was. He was all over him. Foster, if anything, had an edge there and just shooting the ball quickly.
Foster out of New Britain, Connecticut. Ellinghausen against the Bruins man for man. And a traveling call on Tony Hall. So UCLA will inbound the ball, trailing by 5. Public address announcer gave that Duke Kentucky score, and the Clemson fans on hand gave the number 1 sign for the ACC. Stolen away by Scott to Ramsey. Off balance shot as he was going out of bounds, and Foster races up court. Foster with a jump shot, short. Allums rebounds, too hard, tip banned away. Ramsey comes away with the ball.
Ramsey thought he was fouled in the backcourt, so did I.
Well, he was double teamed pretty good. Scott to the basket, tipped up by Allums. Allums tipped it in. See what they're going to credit the basket to.
Well, it sure won't be Allums, but it was one of the best tips he's made all year. Too bad it was at the wrong end.
They credit it to Scott. Sanders with a jump shot. Michael Sanders now with 6 points, and he's hit 3 shots in a row. The Buckeyes by 5 with 7:59 left in the half. Tony Hall out to Carter Scott. Kelvin Ramsey to the baseline. Ball away jump shot. Short. Vandaway high for the rebound for UCLA. Wilkes will come back in for the Bruins. Sanders to Foster from 19 feet. Good.
Excellent screen by Vandaway. Screened Ramsey off. Allowed Foster to have the free shot.
Larry Huggins gets ready to come in for Ohio State. The Buckeyes lead by 3. Ramsey over to Tony Hall. Back to Ramsey. Carter Scott left side. Guarded by Foster. Into Williams. Little half hook and a foul call. Foul's going to go against Allums, I believe, of UCLA.
They love to get the ball into Williams, and he's got a nice little turnaround jump shot. It almost looked like a hook shot on that one. And UCLA, for once, was caught standing there watching everyone else rebound.
Herb Williams at the foul line. Williams with 6 points on the night, and the free throw is good. Williams is 67% foul shooter. Now Huggins comes in the lineup. And a lane violation. The free throw by Williams will not count. This one is in and out. UCLA can cut the Ohio lead to 1. Sanders reverse layup. Good move by Sanders. And the sophomore leads UCLA with 8 points.
Really didn't get a lot of playing time last year as a freshman. So he's still somewhat inexperienced, but you wouldn't know it the way he's playing so far.
Huggins with the ball. Larry Huggins out of Port Washington, Ohio. The jump shot by Kellogg misses. Wilkes has the rebound. Up to Sanders. Ohio getting back quickly on defense. Wilkes to Holton. Foster pulls up. The jump shot will not fall. And Ohio has the rebound. Smith down to Ramsey ahead of the pack, and he lays it in.
After watching that pass by Smith, I guess Ohio State doesn't need quarterback Arch Schleister. That was a pretty good football pass.
24-21 Ohio State. Holton driving. Whistle, he traveled. A traveling call, and that brings Larry Brown off the bench yelling at Hank Nichols, though it was Don Shea that made the call. We pause now for a local station break. This is an NCAA Productions telecast. Steve Shannon and Lynn Shackelford from Tucson, Arizona. McHale center, the ball stolen by UCLA. The Bruins trailing the Buckeyes of Ohio State 24-21. Darren Day, a 6'7" freshman, has replaced Rod Foster in the lineup, and Day scores right away.
Well, certainly one thing Day will have at the guard position is a height advantage over the Buckeyes.
Ohio State by 1. Williams turnaround shot. Short. Rebound Day, who quickly makes his presence felt in the ball game. Holton to Sanders. To Vandeweghe. Leans to the basket. Blocked by Williams. Picked up by Clark Kellogg. Kellogg holds up. Looks for Williams. Cliff Pruitt will come in for UCLA. 24-23 Ohio. Pass stolen by Wilkes as it was intended for Williams.
So 2 times in a row they prevented the ball going in deep to Williams, and that's what they've got to do at UCLA. Actually, they were just a bit careless that time, Ohio State.
Darren Day with the basketball. Day passes to Sanders. Goes toward Kellogg. The jump shot is short, and a foul on Vandeweghe. As he fouls Williams coming off the boards, the UCLA coach is incensed to our left. That's the second foul on Kiki Vandeweghe. 5:02 remaining in the half. Huggins to Ramsey, and now Huggins will bring it down. Larry Brown yells at Don Shea, make a call on the other end as the ball goes out of bounds. And Brown is told to be seated by the official.
Well, so far neither team can really complain too much about lopsided officiating. Ohio State's got 16 fouls, UCLA 7.
Sanders, who left the game for Cliff Pruitt. Now Sanders comes in, and Vandeweghe goes out for UCLA. The Buckeyes by 1. Huggins at the line with a 1-and-1.
So UCLA, here they are in the NCAA West semifinals. They got 3 freshmen and a sophomore out there with James Wilkes, the senior.
Huggins misses his second free throw. The Buckeyes by 2. Rod Foster got a quick breather back in the ball game with Day at guards. Cliff Pruitt out of Bourbon Day High School in Los Angeles back to Foster. Now to Pruitt. Pruitt gives to Sanders. Sanders with a jump shot over Williams. It is around the rim and in.
What Mike Sanders does well is he uses just a little bit of a fall-away jumper, so even though he's shooting over a taller man, he still has no problems getting it off.
UCLA, trailed by 7, has battled back to tie it. Pass into Williams, slapped away. To Darren Day, the freshman going to the basket, lays it up and in. 2 baskets for Darren Day.
That's what UCLA needs to do if they're going to win the game, to get some fast breaks, and of course you can do that when you make a steal.
UCLA leads for only the 2nd time. They led once 2-0. Now they're on top 27-25. Kellogg's shot misses. Sanders taps the ball over to Wilkes. Foster driving, lays it up and in, and Foster's speed penetrated by the defense.
Yeah, and Ohio State badly needs a timeout.
With 3:39 remaining, Ohio State takes a timeout. The score, UCLA 29, Ohio State 25. With Carter Scott and Kelvin Ramsey, the same 5 that started. UCLA going with Michael Sanders, James Wilkes, Cliff Pruitt, Darren Day, and Rod Foster. Ramsey to Kellogg, and Scott cut for the basket, and the pass out of bounds. The Ohio turnover gives the ball to the Bruins.
Coming out of a timeout, you know Coach Alden Miller called a play, wanted them to run something. It really hurts to make a careless turnover like that.
3:25 left in the half. Foster and Day being pressured. Pruitt puts a fake on, and he traveled. So both teams have committed turnovers, and Ohio will put the ball in. Eldon Miller sits back down on the Buckeye bench. Ramsey to Scott. Scott guarded by Day. Carter Scott gets the ball to Williams. Turnaround bank shot is good. And a foul called on Michael Sanders. Larry Brown is yelling at Hank Nichols, and Nichols is saying, "Don't do it."
Looked like Mike Sanders said, "Yes, I did do it." Larry Brown in his first year at UCLA. Outstanding basketball player in North Carolina, and in the pro ranks he was a good little passing guard. Coached professionally.
Smith bids for the 3-point play. Jim Smith, a junior out of Cleveland. This free throw in and out. Wilkes with the inside position on Williams, gets the rebound. 2:57 left in the half. Pass goes to Sanders. Now Wilkes. Pruitt, 18-footer, good. But Pruitt hits. Freshmen have come off the bench, Day and Pruitt, and added big baskets for UCLA, Lynn.
Sure have. You'd never know that it's a high-pressured NCAA regional game the way these freshmen are playing. That's very impressive.
Kellogg to Scott. Ramsey. Jump shot is good, right through the bottom.
Yeah, I think Ramsey's got to manufacture more shots for himself. He started off quickly shooting, then he stopped looking for the shot as they started concentrating on going into Williams. He needs to open up with a few shots from the outside.
Ramsey with 10. Mike Sanders for UCLA. Softball away jumper. Sanders leads all scorers with 12. UCLA by 4. 2:02 until halftime. Ramsey gets a pick. Sanders switches off now to Kellogg, guarded by Pruitt. Clark Kellogg back out to Kelvin Ramsey. Kellogg to the baseline, 12-footer. Misses the rebound, Day. Rod Foster for UCLA down the lane, dumps it off to Wilkes, but a foul called on Foster. Foster went into Carter Scott. 1:38 remaining in the half. UCLA by 4 over Ohio State. We'll see the play again.
One of the problems you have when you're born with tremendous quickness is that you want to use it sometimes too much. And I think Foster probably went into a situation where he didn't have an opening.
Carter Scott's free throw is good. Whether or not you attend this year's NCAA basketball championships in Indianapolis, be sure to order your own championship shirt and cap, each $8. Send a check or money order to NCAA Shirt and Cap, Box 1906, Shawnee Mission, Kansas, 6-6-2-2-2. Both free throws made as Ellenhausen comes back in the game. The senior out of Plymouth, Michigan. A 2-point lead for UCLA. Darren Day to James Wilkes. Cliff Pruitt. Pruitt to Wilkes. Wilkes fumbles the ball, slaps it back in play, and Foster makes the save. Wilkes with the ball to Pruitt. Pruitt guarded by Clark Kellogg. Darrell Allums back in the game for the Bruins. Pruitt now to Wilkes. Wilkes guarded by Williams. Out to Allums. Allums guarded by Ellinghausen. Over to Wilkes from Day. Wilkes with the jumper over Ellinghausen. Misses. Herb Williams rebounds. Out to Ramsey. And the Buckeye quarterback, with 55 seconds to go, waits for everybody to get down court. Carter Scott to Kellogg. Ramsey left of the key, guarded by Foster. Kellogg guarded by Pruitt down the lane. Into Allums. We've got a whistle and a foul called on Clark Kellogg. Player control foul.
UCLA defensively has done a pretty good job so far on Clark Kellogg. He's averaged 11.5 points a game, and they moved in quickly there to close it off. And I guess you might say that they were stationary before he went airborne. It was pretty close.
That is the third foul on the freshman out of Cleveland.
It could be a big factor in the second half, him with 3 fouls.
Both teams now with 17 fouls. 40 seconds remaining in the half. They took Kellogg out, put Tony Hall back in for Ohio State. UCLA.
Yeah, they'll probably go for one shot here, Steve.
Foster in traffic along the sideline. Get it out today. Pruitt with the ball. 22 seconds. And Pruitt is fouled. Tony Hall tried to slap the ball away, making a steal. He's called for the personal.
The UCLA coaching staff feels that they would have a much better record today had they made some key free throws in earlier games this year, and they felt that they started winning a lot of close games when they started making free throws. So these will be important one-and-ones.
Michael Holton back in the ball game. Well, the first game they lost this season at Notre Dame, they missed the front ends of many one-and-ones that cost them the ball game, along with some turnovers due to their inexperience.
One of the keys in the DePaul win last week was Cliff Pruitt, this man right here, making the one-and-ones like he did at least so far on the first one.
He has them both. He was 8 of 8 against DePaul. 35-31 UCLA. The Buckeyes. Ramsey walks the ball down. Ramsey guarded by Holton. Now to Hall. Hall back out to Carter Scott. 8 seconds. Scott in traffic. 5 seconds. Gets the ball along the sideline. Going to the basket is Hall. And we get a player control foul on Ohio State. It's called on Tony Hall. 2 seconds remaining in the half. Rod Foster back in for UCLA. So Ohio State comes down court. As you watch it, Foster come back in the ballgame.
I think they'd like to get the ball to Foster with his quick speed. Maybe he could get a shot near half court. No, they're going to try a long pass.
Up to Pruitt, ball knocked away, and Williams dribbles the ball as the half comes to a close. That's the end of the first half of play with the score. The UCLA Bruins 35, the Ohio State Buckeyes 31. We'll be back in a moment with our halftime show. Steve Shannon back at McHale Center in Tucson, Arizona. Our halftime score, the UCLA Bruins 35, the Ohio State Buckeyes 31. Ohio State led at one time by 7 points, 14-7. UCLA got some good play out of its bench, and here's a look at the scoring. Michael Sanders, the starting center for the Bruins, with 12 points. Rod Foster has 6. Michael Holton failed to score. 6 for Kiki Vandeweghe, 3 for James Wilkes. Darrell Allums failed to score. 4 for Darren Day and 4 for Cliff Pruitt, a pair of freshmen coming off the bench. For Ohio State, their senior guard Kelvin Ramsey leads the way with 10 points. 8 points for 6'10" center Herb Williams. 6 points for Carter Scott. 2 for Jim Smith. 2 for Clark Kellogg. Tony Hall failed to score. 2 for Ellinghausen and 1 for Huggins, who came off the bench. Bill Foster, the coach of Clemson, a 74-66 victory over Lamar, will be Lynn Shackelford's halftime guest. Here at halftime, the Bruins leading by 4, the winner meeting Clemson on Saturday afternoon for this Western Regional Final. We now pause for this local station break.
It wasn't pretty, but it was a very good win.
A lot of people would probably like to know a little bit more about Clemson. You finished 4th this year in what you think is a very tough conference, so maybe it shouldn't be that surprising you can win 3 NCAA tournament games.
Well, I don't think so. We've had 7 wins against top 20 teams, and we ended up 4th in our league, but we lost 6 games by a total of 14 points. So a few points here or there, we could have been a lot higher.
And you got a big front line, 6'10", 6'10", and 6'10". That's not bad.
Well, sometimes that's an advantage. It kind of makes you feel good going in the game with them.
You had a guard tonight that had an off night, Billy Williams, yet he's still one of the fine players in the country.
I think Billy's a very complete player. He's made the transition from a forward to a guard. He handles the ball well. Good shooter, good penetrator. He didn't shoot well tonight, but he had 5 assists and made some key steals for us.
With your win over Lamar, you get to play the winner of this game, UCLA and Ohio State. What were your observations in the first half?
Well, I think the game's far from over, but UCLA appears to be a step quicker right now than Ohio State defensively, and they've got a little more movement on offense. I think if Ohio State picks up and gets a little more movement on offense, the game could turn the other way. But they both look very good. They're different kinds of teams, but both tough.
If you were to play UCLA, how would you handle their quickness, or do you think your team has the kind of quickness that you can play with them?
Well, I think we've got pretty good quickness, and, you know, we try to play a team defense and not really give a lot of one-on-one matchups and try to compensate for maybe not being as quick in some spots by covering up with other people.
Ohio State defense, they played pretty well. The Buckeyes made almost half of their, over half of their 27 shots. That should be a little bit over 50%. At the free throw line, though, Ohio State not getting very many opportunities and not really cashing in. That has hurt them. While UCLA, not really known for their talent at the line, shot very well in the first half. On that UCLA individually in the rebound department, of the 23, Wilkes had 7. He by far led both teams. Vandeweghe had 5. Ramsey individually had 10 points. He had a good shooting, 5 out of 9. Those girls, by the way, really dazzled the crowd here at halftime in those outfits, and they're performing.
So we get ready for the start of the second half with UCLA leading Ohio State 35-31. Eldon Miller had said before this ball game, he said, you can talk about us being the physical team, but he says UCLA out-rebounded its foes all year long by 4 or 5 rebounds tonight.
Yeah, they do it with good positioning, and that sometimes is more important than height. And they do it by sending a lot of players to the boards. I think what Ohio State has to do is what Coach Bill Foster at Clemson said. Get a little more balance out there. Ramsey's got to look for the shot. They got to get Kellogg involved perhaps a little bit more in the offense and not go into Williams every time. UCLA basically now knows on defense what Ohio State's trying to do.
This is the only game still in progress tonight out in the Mid-East. Purdue defeated Indiana 76-69. It was Duke over Kentucky 55-54. And Clemson downed Lamar here by a score of 74-66. It is Williams, Smith, Scott, Ramsey, and Kellogg, the same 5 that started for Ohio State, same 5 that started for UCLA out there, and Wilkes, Vandeweghe, Holton, Foster, and Sanders. Hank Nichols to put the ball in the air, and Sanders controls the tip to Vandeweghe.
Yeah, it looked like he almost hit it on the way up.
He came very close. Vandeweghe against the man-for-man to Wilkes. Underneath the Vandeweghe, gets free, goes up and is fouled. Fouled by Carter Scott.
Smart thinking on the part of Coach Larry Brown. There was a double screen down set at the baseline for Vandeweghe. He comes off the double screen, and he was open just enough to get the ball and almost got it in. Now, Kiki Vandeweghe's been noted as having 1 good half and 1 ordinary half. The first half was ordinary for him, made only 2 out of 9 shots and 6 points. So UCLA maybe thinking running a play at the outset of the half to try to get him a quick basket, get him on his way to a good half.
Vandeweghe's now 3 for 3 from the foul line. That was the second foul on Carter Scott. Vandeweghe has them both. He has 8 points. UCLA by 6. Carter Scott for the Buckeyes to Williams. The shot is good. Williams gets the turnaround jumper.
It looks like Williams has the ability to turn either way. That really makes him doubly effective inside.
6'10" center has 10 points. Wilkes to Foster, hand away back to Foster, swings around and lays it up and in. Foster cut by and got the basket. Foster has 8. Ramsey for the Buckeyes to Scott. Scott double team. Gets the ball to Williams from the baseline. The shot in and out. And Wilkes has the rebound. Rod Foster for UCLA. Almost turned it over. Out to Wilkes. Holton to Foster. Vanned away. Picked up by Williams. To Wilkes. Wilkes moves to the basket. Does not get the shot, but draws a foul. And the foul will be on Jim Smith.
If I can play coach here for a minute, and I'm sure not trying to tell Eldon Miller what to do. I've seen UCLA has some difficulty against a zone defense, especially when it's a big team. And Ohio State, of course, does have some height. And right now, Ohio State on defense is having a lot of trouble with the UCLA quickness. And maybe if they went to a zone, it might be something that they could try and see how it might be a little more effective for them.
Well, that's a good point. The Bruins have been bothered by zones this season. The free throw by Wilkes misses. In the early going of this half, when it appears that the Bruins are going to try to take the game to Ohio and go underneath.
Yeah, well, they feel that with their quickness, that with some quick passes, they can get some layups or some at least shots underneath.
Wilkes makes the second free throw. It is 40-33. UCLA's biggest lead, 7 points. Scott for Ohio State to Ramsey. Ramsey to Kellogg, stolen by Foster. Foster with Scott trying to catch him. Scott concedes the basket.
Well, Scott has speed, and he's a fine athlete, but I don't know who's going to ever catch Foster from behind.
A 9-point advantage for UCLA, 10 points for Rod Foster. Clark Kellogg to Scott. Ramsey, guarded by Holton, out to Kellogg. Ramsey's off-balance jumper, good.
Yeah, if Ohio State's going to come back, they're really going to need a great half, I think, out of Kelvin Ramsey in a lot of different ways.
He now has 12 in the game. Michael Holton for UCLA. Bounce passes. Sanders the quick release. Off the stem of the rim. Ramsey the rebound for Ohio. Foster tries for the steal and is charged with a foul as he cuts right in front of Ramsey. Second foul on Foster.
Well, he's sure not in foul trouble, but there was really, I guess he thought maybe he had a shot there to steal, but there was no question on the play that he fouled Ramsey.
On the common foul, Ohio inbounds. Tony Hall gets ready to come back in for Eldon Miller. Kellogg gets it to Ramsey, guarded by Michael Holton. Now Scott, guarded by Foster. Ramsey in the lane. The jump shot right through the bottom again.
He shows that he has the ability to play when he has the ball to create his shown shot, and that time he played without the ball to get open for a shot.
Dave will come back in. Foster hits the jump shot. Foster with a hot hand. 12 points for him, 6 in this half. We've played less than 4 minutes. 16:46 remaining in the ball game. Ramsey to Kellogg. 44-37, the Bruins lead the Buckeyes. Scott open at the foul line. He can't hit. Kellogg taps the save back in, but it's taken in by Sanders. Holton. Michael Sanders from 14 feet. Rebound, Jim Smith for Ohio. Clark Kellogg gets it to Scott. Ramsey. Short jumper won't fall. And we've got a foul underneath. A foul on Herb Williams of Ohio State. .16:10 left in the ball game. That's only the first foul on Herb Williams.
All right, now let's get some good shots.
That's a nice thing to have in your mind when you're playing out there, that you only got one foul here at this stage of the second half. really allows you to play the kind of defense you want to out there.
Wilkes to Darren Day. They came off the bench and gave the Bruins some spark in the first half of play. Mandaway open on the baseline. The shot is in and out. The rebound by Scott on up to Ramsey, and Foster comes from behind, but the follow-up shot made good by Tony Hall.
Actually, that was Vandewey's fault. That was a brilliant play by Hall. Vandewey could have had the rebound, but he thought the layup was going to be made. Hall assumed it was going to be missed and was there.
And Hall's called for a foul as he does some shoving on the sideline with Darren Day. That is the fourth Ohio State team foul. UCLA has committed 2 in this second half. 15:34 left in the ball game. Michael Holton with it. Wilkes cuts underneath, goes through the lane. Now to Day. Day to Wilkes, straight away in the lane. The turnaround shot, too soft, off the rim, and Williams the rebound. 6-1. Kelvin Ramsey drives, lays it up, scores. He is fouled.
I hope he's not hurt. You talk about acceleration and going to your left. He really hit that pad hard.
Foul on Foster, his third.
Well, I said that Ohio State was going to need a big half out of him, and it's obvious that that's exactly what he's going to try to do here. He's really playing hard. He had a little change of speed, and of course that's so effective. And he went right around Holton that time. And Foster was the one that fouled him on his way to the basket. That, by the way, is the third foul on Foster. That could be a factor also.
He remains in the game, though, and Holton goes out. Sanders is back in for UCLA. And Ramsey tries to complete the three-point play. He makes the shot.
A la Bob Boozer or Henry Bibby stands over there at the right side of the line.
17 points now for Ramsey to lead all scorers in the ball game. And the UCLA lead has been cut to 2. Foul is called on Carter Scott for holding. That'll be the 5th team foul in the Buckeyes. On Carter Scott, that is his third foul. So with 15 minutes remaining in the ball game, there's a timeout on the court with the score. UCLA 44, Ohio State 42. First half to take the lead. Pass goes underneath the Wilkes, and he scores. Wilkes now with 6 points. Four-point UCLA lead. Ramsey marking for his club to get some movement on the court. Ramsey back out to Hall, over to Scott. Ramsey for the quick jumper. What a quick release.
Wow.
Ramsey with 19 points as he is staging almost a one-man comeback against UCLA. Darren Day to Foster. Foster looking for some help, gets the ball to Sanders. Down to the 14-minute mark. Pass to Vandewey. Kiki works in the lane. The fall-away jump shot is short, and Tony Hall has the rebound. Up to Ramsey. His pass deflected by Foster, who goes into the press table on the far side. Carter Scott grabs him and asks if he's all right. Todd Penn will come in the game for Ohio State. Number 24, a 5'9" junior from Columbus. And Cliff Pruitt, number 34, in for UCLA. Carter Scott to the Ohio bench, and James Wilkes comes out of the ball game for UCLA. Into Ramsey. Kelvin. Bounce passes to Penn, open for the jumper. Ramsey rebounds, scores again. What a show by Calvin Ramsey, 21 points. Ohio down by as many as 8 has come back to tie it.
Thanks to Calvin Ramsey.
Put Penn in the lineup for more speed. They have he and Ramsey now at the guard positions. There's Penn with the quick hands, making the steal from Foster. The traveling call against Todd Penn of Ohio State. Day goes out of the game. Holton back in. Freshman for freshman in the UCLA exchange.
Still, once again, there's 3 freshmen and a sophomore out there in the lineup for UCLA.
Holton looks underneath, can't find anybody, to Pruitt. Pruitt to Sanders. Sanders fronted by Hall. Pass back into Sanders, goes to the basket, shot in and out, but a foul call on Ohio State's Tony Hall.
Brilliant move by Sanders, as once again UCLA with some quickness and good movement. They work the ball into Sanders, and he just goes up and around there quickly. He'll get 2 free throws because he didn't make the shot.
4th foul on Tony Hall, who was not a starter, but has played quite a bit. Sanders makes the free throw. It was the 6th team foul on Ohio State. UCLA still at 2 team fouls in the half.
Yeah, what a break for UCLA there in the team foul department. It'll be a long time probably before Ohio State gets in the bonus.
You see, Sanders is 76% free thrower, makes them both, and the Bruins lead 48-42. Buckeyes with the ball. Ramsey out to Hall, picked up by Pruitt. Ramsey works his way to the left side, out to Penn. Now Hall looking for Ramsey. Ramsey off balance, bank shot, he scores again.
They're just running him along the baseline from one side of the court to the other, and Ohio State's just looking for him, and he seems to come up with some different kind of shot every time he gets it.
Ramsey, who averaged 15.7 a game, is putting on a clinic here in the second half. Pruitt almost lost the ball out of bounds. Day will come back in. Vandaway fakes Williams, goes to the basket and scores. Good move by Vandaway. And UCLA takes the lead once again. 12 minutes left in the ball game. Jump shot missed by Williams. Holton passes to Sanders. It's deflected by Ramsey. And he's had a hand in everything, Len.
Yeah, he's great at both ends. In fact, I'm wondering how long Ramsey can carry this team, as Eldon Miller is running players in and out, but Ramsey stays out there. He might be getting a little bit tired.
There's a timeout with 11:54 left in the basketball game. It's UCLA 50, Ohio State 48.
A game. And he was a playmaker at least until tonight. He's had to turn it on offensively.
We've had pretty good balance. 4 men in double figures. Smith averaging 7. Day gets the ball to Vandaway, guarded by Herb Williams. Cliff Pruitt picked up by Clark Kellogg. Vandaway, man on the floor, Penn. We get an offensive foul on UCLA. Pushing off back underneath. Sanders called for holding. Penn went down in the lane. For Ohio, Marcus Miller, a 6'5" junior from Columbus, number 45, is in the lineup. Miller out to Penn. Eldon Miller, like Larry Brown, has shown he's not afraid to play a few players in this ball game.
No, well, the pace has been pretty good, so that's not a bad idea.
Williams to Ramsey. Ramsey guarded by Day, gives away 6 inches to the UCLA freshman. Ramsey now open. This shot is off. Kellogg rebounds and scores. It's tied at 50. 11:06 left in the ball game. Clark Kellogg ties it up. Only his second basket. Sanders. Holton. Holton seldom shoots. Pruitt on the right side. Gets the ball to Vandaway, and it's wiped off. A foul is called on Williams before the shot. That will be a second foul on Herb Williams.
UCLA once again trying to use some quick movement underneath to get the ball inside. They did it there too. An excellent movement by Vandaway away from the ball.
James Wilson Wilkes to come back in the ball game for the Bruins. UCLA now on the 1-1, and Vandeweghe hits the free throw. He has been 5 of 5 from the line tonight. Throw it out, Wilkes in for UCLA. Vandeweghe has them both, and it's 52-50 Bruins. Vandeweghe has 12 points. Sanders leads UCLA with 14. Foster has 12. It's 23 by Ramsey of Ohio State. 10 for Herb Williams. Marcus Miller to Ramsey. Bad pass stolen away by Darren Day. Day is 1-on-2. Bank shot will not fall. Rebound. Sanders tried to get it to Vandeweghe. Day shot rejected by Kellogg. Day gets it to Sanders, and UCLA will set it up with 10-12 left in the game. Larry Brown wanting a timeout. So UCLA takes timeout. 10 minutes and 8 seconds left in the basketball game. The score, the UCLA Bruins 52, the Ohio State Buckeyes 50.
Saturday, tomorrow, of course, we got the East and the Midwest regional semifinals to be played.
Wilkes with the ball. Stolen away by Penn. Out in the East, it'll be Syracuse against Iowa and Maryland against Georgetown. Tomorrow, Ramsey hits again. What a show by Ramsey, the senior from Toledo, Ohio. 25 points. Also tomorrow in the Midwest, as we get a foul in backcourt on Penn, we'll have Louisiana State going against Missouri and Texas A&M meeting Louisville. Holton to the free throw line. Holton, a 75% free throw shooter. Game tied at 52. Holton shot misses on the front end of the 1-and-1, and Kellogg rebounds and gives to Ramsey. So Ohio can take the lead. Penn to Kellogg. Miller to Ramsey. Williams turns around over Wilkes. Shot won't fall. The rebound. Day releases out to Holton. Holton in some traffic, but maintains control to Wilkes. Wilkes moves to the basket, goes up, and a foul called on Wilkes. A foul on Wilkes as Miller at established position.
To say that the UCLA people didn't like that call would be an understatement. Wilkes drove in, and actually looking at it again, it looked like it might not have been that bad of a call.
9:08 remaining in the ball game, tied at 52. High lob pass for Williams, stolen by Wilkes. Foster with the ball. Try for the steal by Kellogg. A bounce pass to Day. He holds up, back out to Foster. And the Bruin bench calls for a play to be run. Wilkes to Day. Vandeweghe calling for the ball. Day goes to the lane. The jump shot is good. We pause now 5 seconds for station identification.
This is Channel 5 KTLA Los Angeles.
Back in Tucson, 8:24 left in the ball game. UCLA leading Ohio State 54-52. Miller to Ramsey. Ramsey looking inside to Williams. Wilkes has been fronting him. Clark Kellogg. Shot, an air ball. It's picked off by Wilkes. Rod Foster walks the ball in front court. Passes to Darren Day. Less than 8 minutes. Vandeweghe, 6'8" senior. Los Angeles gives the ball over to Day. Day to Sanders. Sanders works his way inside. Blocked by Williams. Picked up by Ramsey. Down to Penn for the layup. And Ohio comes back to tie it at 54.
What UCLA has to do now is not get discouraged by that turnover, not become more deliberate, but continue to play with a quick tempo and quickness that they've displayed throughout the game.
Vandeweghe to Wilkes. Wilkes moves to the basket, misses the shot, rebound. Hauled in by Kellogg. Up to Ramsey. Ohio State can take the lead. Knocked away by Day. Kellogg in the lane. The Buckeyes lead 56-54. A timeout taken by UCLA. There's 7:07 left in the ball game. It's Ohio State's Buckeyes 56, the UCLA Bruins 54. You are your...
Disco Schmishko, where's the specials?
What I've really enjoyed about this game, though, Steve, is that both teams have played man-to-man. No one has really been delaying or trying any gimmicks. We see James Wilkes, the senior, go out there. We said earlier that he rescued a boy drowning today over at the hotel. He had his shoes, clothes, and everything on. It was kind of a quick situation where he didn't have a chance to do anything except jump in and save the kid.
Bruins to inbound the ball. Ohio still going with Marcus Miller, Kelvin Ramsey. Carter Scott's back in the lineup, along with Clark Kellogg. Bruins have Day, Foster, Vandeweghe, Sanders, and Wilkes. So Ohio set up in a 1-3-1 zone. And we get a foul called on Marcus Miller. So Foster will go to the free throw line as Miller commits his first foul.
It may be that Ohio State was just waiting to get that lead before they went to a zone defense, and maybe Eldon Miller's had that in the back of his mind, but he wanted the lead to do it.
Steve Foster, an 84%er at the foul line, leading free throw shooter on the UCLA team, and he trims the Ohio edge to 1 point. Foster. Too hot. Britain Connecticut makes the free throw. Tied at 56. Day picks up Ramsey. Ramsey gets it to Kellogg. Over to Marcus Miller. He'll fire from 20 feet. Rebound belongs to Foster at 6'1". He had position. Brings it down 4-on-3 underneath the Day. Goes up and scores. Big basket with a freshman Darren Day, the assist to Foster.
Yeah, what an asset to be mobile, and then at 6'7" to have that height underneath, you're going to get a lot of shots off on fast breaks.
UCLA by 2. Ramsey to Miller. Miller goes left to the key to Ramsey, who cut quickly across the baseline. Kelvin takes it in, shoots and scores again. 27 points for Kelvin Ramsey. Tied at 58, 5:51 left in the game. Wilkes.
Ohio State back to a man-to-man defense. Excuse me, Steve.
Foster's shot is short. Williams picks up the loose ball. Stolen away by Sanders. Sanders to Vandeweghe, to the basket. Doesn't get the shot. Williams the rebound. Herb Williams to Ramsey. Holton will come back in for UCLA. Eldon Miller calling for a play off the Buckeye bench. 5:20 left. Ramsey has the ball stolen by Day. Day goes behind the back, takes him to the basket, puts up a shot, and is fouled.
It's the first time I've seen Darren Day really at UCLA start to live up to the billing that he had when he came out of Kennedy High School in the San Fernando Valley in California. Long arms. He just reached in and took it away from Ramsey. And then, of course, he can really handle the ball well. He's going to be a great one, whether he's at guard or forward. He can play both.
There's a timeout with 5:14 left in the game. It's all tied. UCLA 58, Ohio State 58. Steve Shannon and Lynn Shackelford at McHale Center, Tucson, Arizona. Larry Brown instructing his team, and we couldn't help but overhear it. Many things you've heard before, Lynn. He says, you've got to suck it up. He told Vandeweghe, he says, you've got to take the challenge of Clark Kellogg. He says his guards are playing out a little bit too far to get some back doors. We're all tied here at 58.
quickness, Steve, that UCLA has exhibited tonight is somewhat reminiscent of UCLA teams, about 16 years ago under John Wooden, when they won a couple championships in '64 and '65, and the tallest players on the team were about 6'7", 6'8". In fact, in '64, the tallest player in the starting lineup is Fred Slaughter at 6'5", Keith Erickson at 6'5".
Day makes a big free throw, and we say that because he's only a 54% foul shooter at the line, but he gives the Bruins a lead over the Buckeyes, and he makes them both. And Day has played very fine basketball coming off the UCLA bench today. Miller bounces the ball off his foot. A foul is called on Ohio State as the quick-handed Foster got the ball, and Carter Scott is guilty of the foul with 5:02 left.
So Ohio State's making a few costly turnovers here, but I don't think you can go through the Big Ten Conference the way they did with as much success and really be that sloppy of a team. I really don't think they're going to continue to be that way. Good little play there by Mike Sanders was the one that caused the deflection.
Fourth foul on Carter Scott. Rod Foster at the line. He has 14 points.
What a plus for UCLA to be shooting these 1-and-1 free throws, and with only 5 minutes left in the game, the Bruins have just 4 team fouls. So it'll be a long time before Ohio State gets in that 1-and-1 situation.
Miller goes out. Jim Ellinghausen is back in. Third time that he's come off the bench tonight. 15 points for Foster. UCLA by 3. Picture of concentration at the line, and he has them both. The last one hardly got any net, as you can see. And Ramsey brings the ball up for Ohio. Ramsey gives to Scott. Out to Kellogg. Kellogg with a jump shot. Good. The freshman makes a key basket for the Buckeyes with 4:44 left. UCLA by 2 over Ohio. Ramsey picks up Foster. Over to Darren Day. And away cuts toward the basket. Day tries to get it into Sanders. Stolen away by Scott. Stolen back by Day. 2-on-2. Day backs in, goes up, and is fouled.
He was lucky he got away with that. He was going in there against most of the Ohio State team. But it's obvious tonight that Darren Day is really excited and really keyed up and is playing very well. He makes the steal, and then he goes down the other way. Now, he really didn't have an advantage or anyone to pass to there. He just took it all himself, kind of challenged Williams. Got fouled by someone else.
Darren Day at the foul line. Day with 10 points. He was not a starter. Misses the free throw. And his last 2 free throws. Misses this one with 4:25 left in the ballgame. The winner to face Clemson on Saturday here at Tucson. Misses both shots, and Clark Kellogg the rebound. The Buckeyes can tie this time down. Ramsey gives to Kellogg. Kellogg guarded by Vandeweghe from the foul line. The shot is good. Kellogg has hit 2 in a row.
He looks like the kind of player that maybe when Ramsey cools off a little, he can start to turn it on a little bit. Kellogg, he's got some brilliant one-on-one moves.
Freshman with 2 clutch baskets. He has 10. Foster at the baseline has the ball slapped away. Ramsey slaps it out of bounds, and UCLA will play it back in. There's 3:54 left. Senior James Wilkes to inbound it for UCLA. Just ball stolen by Clark Kellogg. Kellogg playing a prominent role as the Buckeyes have a chance to take the lead. Ramsey with the ball and 3:45 left.
Good defense by Ohio State not to let the ball go in with an easy pass on that inbound.
Ramsey to Scott. Back to Ramsey. Scott works his way baseline. Day goes down out to Ramsey. In and out. Ball slapped by Vandeweghe to Sanders. Now to Foster with 3:19 left. Into Sanders. His shot is good, and he's fouled.
UCLA coach Larry Brown wanted a timeout. The players didn't see him. Can't complain too much. It's a possible three-point play.
Right now, he's a very happy man that, as you say, they did not get the timeout as Sanders gets a chance for the three-point play. The foul against Clark Kellogg is his fourth. Sanders with 16 points. He and Foster lead the Bruins in scoring, and now it's Sanders with 17. A three-point lead for UCLA. Ramsey with 3 minutes to Kellogg. Now to Ellinghausen. His jumper good. He has 4 points. Ellinghausen's only taken 2 shots. He's made them both. One in the first half, one here in the late going. Foster down in the lane, nothing called. Vandeweghe starts a move. Ball slapped away. It is out of bounds. And it is off UCLA.
Yeah. They said the ball went off the leg of apparently Vandeweghe.
So the turnover, Ohio State can take the lead. Ramsey with the ball.
They just cleared the floor off for Ramsey.
He takes to the basket and draws a foul. A foul will be on Sanders.
Darren Day, the freshman, really got a tough matchup there. He's 6'7". He's really got to get down low to stay with Ramsey because he's got some quickness. On the right side, they just really cleared the floor off. Day stayed with him pretty well, but Ramsey got around it. And Sanders was the one that committed the foul. His fourth.
Ramsey at the line with 2 shots. Makes the free throw. He now has 28 points in the ball game. Michael Holton will come back in for the Bruins. Buckeyes have tied it at 65. Larry Brown indicating if Ohio takes the lead, and they do, they'll go to a 1-3-1 zone, which they were in earlier when they led by 2. Holton in and Darren Day out. 2:25 left in the ball game. And the call goes for the 1-3-1 zone with Ramsey playing out front. Ellinghausen in the middle, flanked by Kellogg and Williams, and back underneath Carter Scott. Kiki Vandeweghe to Wilkes. Back to Vandeweghe. Vandeweghe to Sanders. Sanders from 15. His cross-court pass deflected by Ramsey out of bounds. UCLA will inbound from the right side as we hit the 2-minute mark. Foster to Holton. Back to Foster. Foster on the dribble. 1:51 remaining in the game. Sanders guarded by Ellinghausen. Jump pass that is knocked away. Foster gets it back. His jump shot is off the stem of the rim. Foster gets it again. Foster a good job of following his shot. Vandeweghe from Wilkes into Sanders. Sanders puts up a shot that is direct.
They may call that before the shot.
They will call a foul before the shot.
So here's one of your all-important 1-and-1 situations.
Sanders goes to the line. The foul on Carter Scott, and he is fouled out of the ball game. Scott fouls out with a total of 6 points. Darren Day comes back in, leaving Michael Holton. It looks like Huggins will come in for Ohio. Larry Huggins, 6'3" freshman from Port Washington, appears for the 2nd time in the game. (66-65), Ohio State leading UCLA.
Eldon Miller using that full minute that he's got after a player is fouled out to substitute. Actually, it's a good chance for both teams to get a little breather here.
Number 20, Larry Huggins.
Mike Sanders with 17 points in the basketball game. The sophomore from Ritter, Louisiana. the free throw to tie it at 66. He can give UCLA the lead. Sanders now at 19. He's the second leading scorer in the game. UCLA by 1. Ramsey with the ball for Ohio State.
Same thing. They just clear the floor off.
He fakes Day. Short with the shot. Sanders the rebound. He is fouled coming off the board by Ramsey. A minute and 15 seconds remaining. The fourth foul on Ramsey.
So often you see that a player out of frustration for missing the shot compounds the error by making a foul. They just cleared it off. I thought actually Ramsey had himself a good little shot and was going to get it in. It's obvious that he did make the foul.
Sanders shot in and out. Williams the rebound. 1:13 left. Ohio with another chance to take the lead. And the Buckeyes call a timeout. There's 1:08 left in the ball game. UCLA 67, Ohio State 67. And what a basketball game we've had, Lynn Shackelford.
I was just going to say, Steve, the losing team really has not been disgraced here. UCLA has proved by far, of course, after their win over DePaul, that they deserve to be in the tournament. And Ohio State, their coach Eldon Miller, and the Ohio State Buckeyes have proved to be an excellent team, which everyone said they were coming out of the Big Ten, where they finished in second place. UCLA, of course, was only fourth in their conference, the Pac-10.
But and the only Pac-10 team remaining.
Yeah, that's right. The only team out of the West remaining, west part of the country. Now what UCLA's got to do is just play some hard defense. Now every time down, the last few times, Ohio State has just tried to clear the floor and let Kelvin Ramsey go one-on-one. And I would think that they probably would go with something different this time. Especially since he's got 4 personal fouls, so he's got to be careful. He can't go charging in anybody or anything like that, because you got an overtime game, you want him out there.
Both teams still huddled around their coaches, and now the officials come over, beckon both teams onto the court. In case you missed the scores earlier tonight, it was Purdue defeating Indiana 76-69. Duke over Kentucky 55-54, and earlier here Clemson won from Lamar 74-66. Clark Kellogg will inbound the ball right in front of us. Comes into Ramsey. Ramsey guarded by freshman Darren Day. Ramsey gets the ball to Huggins. Huggins guarded by Foster. Now to Kellogg. Kellogg back to Ramsey. 56 seconds left in the game. Clark Kellogg left side picked up by Vandeweghe. Ellinghausen to Ramsey. Ramsey goes to the basket in heavy traffic. Misses the shot. Sanders has the rebound. They're screaming for a foul on the Ohio bench. UCLA by 1, and Ramsey fouls out of the ball game for Ohio State. The Buckeyes lose their leading scorer. And what a hand he gets from this crowd at McHale Center, and richly deserved.
Yep, they're all starting to stand now.
29 points for Ramsey.
Brilliant performance. It is unfortunate that someone else couldn't quickly have gotten somewhere to commit the foul. It's unfortunate that Ramsey had to do it. There wasn't that big of a rush. I don't think he really needed to. I'd rather have a few seconds eaten up on the clock and have someone else commit the foul, so you still got Ramsey out there.
37 seconds left in the game. Eldon Miller will send Todd Penn, a quick 5'9" junior guard, back in. Pretty excited over here on the UCLA bench, Lynn, with 37 seconds to go, and important free throws to be taken by Foster, who is UCLA's best foul shooter. Larry Brown directing traffic out in the court. Foster's free throw makes it a 2-point UCLA advantage. He makes this one. It takes Ohio 2 possessions to take the lead.
or a three-point play. They'll probably go into Williams now that Ramsey's fouled out.
This one misses, and Ohio State can tie it as Williams was high for the rebound.
Now, do you run the clock down and go for the last shot to try to tie? I don't think so. Get a good shot now and put it up.
Penn almost lost the ball. I think you've got to take your first opportunity. Huggins on the baseline loses the ball out of bounds.
They were trying to go into Williams, but UCLA was almost triple teaming him.
And the Buckeyes call a timeout with 21 seconds left. A costly turnover. 21 seconds remaining in the basketball game. It's the UCLA Bruins 68, the Ohio State Buckeyes 66.
21 seconds there. Don't celebrate yet. Get it.
Okay.
Back at McHale Center in Tucson, Steve Shannon and Lynn Shackelford, 21 seconds to go. Lynn will hopefully have the winning coach after the game, but that's still very much in doubt. So UCLA leads by 2, and the Bruins will play the ball in. UCLA led at halftime by 4, 35-31.
What Ohio State will probably try to do is they'll try to steal the ball initially on the inbounds play, and then of course if they cannot make the steal, then they have to make the foul. And they really at this point now cannot afford to wait to see who it goes to. They just got to foul the first available man.
So the Buckeyes set up in a pressing defense. Smith takes Wilkes, and Wilkes wants to study that defense, and now UCLA calls for a timeout.
Now, of course, if you're Eldon Miller, you can play the game and you can set up a different kind of press if you'd like, but I don't think you want to do that at this stage.
It has been a night for upsets. Indiana favored over Purdue. Indiana, the Big Ten champion, as we look at the scores. Clemson over Lamar by 8 points in our first game here at Tucson.
One of the stunners there was Duke leading by 14 at halftime against Kentucky and then holding on for the 1-point win. So now Duke will play Purdue on Saturday for the Mid-East Championship there. And Clemson, of course, is waiting to see who they're going to play here.
Blue Devils sort of had to hang on. You talked about that later. It was 37-23. They got only 18 points in the second half, and Larry Brown doing some diagramming of plays.
That looks like it's a way to get the ball in bounds in the backcourt there. He knows that Ohio State's going to commit the foul. He just wants to get the ball in. And Purdue beat the Big Ten champion, Indiana.
Speaking of getting the ball in, you'd think he'd like to get it to his best foul shooter, Rod Foster, and that's what he likely had diagrammed there. (68-66) UCLA over Ohio State. They get the ball to Foster, double team. He is fouled by Todd Penn. Eldon Miller didn't think so. It was right in front of the Buckeye bench. They thought the speedy Penn had established position on Foster. We'll take one more look.
Long way to go in this game if Foster does not make this free throw, believe me. No, it was pretty easy play. He was moving. It was an easy play to call.
Rod Foster with 17 points. Only 2 seconds ticked off the clock on that inbounds play on the foul. Larry Brown giving instructions to his team. Almost came out. It goes in. UCLA by 3.
I would say on that one a few hard stops in the UCLA fans. Kellogg comes in now for offensive purposes for Ohio State.
Team fouls on UCLA. Foster shooting his bonus shot. he hits it, it is a 4-point lead for UCLA. Penn picks up the ball, brings it in front court for Ohio. Penn gets the ball to Kellogg. Kellogg leans in. The shot good. Ohio cuts it to 2. 10 seconds. Foster in backcourt, double teamed. Now to Wilkes. And a foul. Wilkes is fouled as he was double teamed by Hall and Kellogg. Kellogg commits the foul and is fouled out.
Ohio State waited a long time there to make that foul, and that's really going to hurt their chances, even if UCLA misses the front end of this 1-and-1.
Sort of a thing where they did not want to foul Foster, but yet, as you indicated, they lost a lot of precious time.
Yeah, you have to gamble at that stage. Gamble, even the best free throw shooter on the team will miss.
Will come back in the ball game. We wish to take this opportunity to thank the tournament manager Dave Strack, the tournament media coordinator Bob Jacobson, athletic director Hugh Hinman of Ohio State, head basketball coach Eldon Miller and his staff, and sports information director Marv Holman. And from UCLA, athletic director J.D. Morgan, head basketball coach Larry Brown and his staff, and sports information director Vic Keller. James Wilkes at the line. Free throw makes it 71-68 UCLA. And the Bruins are now pulled out of the lane tracks as Wilkes gets only his 7th point, but what a big one it is.
And what it came down here is UCLA made the necessary free throws, and that's what's going to give them the win.
As they did against DePaul. They're yelling at them now not to foul. Wilkes makes them both, and UCLA will face Clemson on Saturday. Pass up court stolen by Holton, and Ohio State, the runner-up in the Big Ten, has been knocked off by UCLA 72-68. Executive producer of tonight's game has been Dennis Kreider of NCAA Productions. The producer and director Dick Siley. Our technical director Wayne McDonald. Technical supervisor Manuel Montez. Unit manager Mike Peterson. And our facilities and crew from NBC in Burbank. For Lynn Shackelford, it was a pleasure working with you, Lynn. This is Steve Shannon saying so long from McHale Center in Tucson, Arizona, where the UCLA Bruins have beaten the Ohio State Buckeyes